We all know that business decisions are a lot smarter when aligned to the state of the economy. So, manufacturers, if they know demand well in advance, they can plan capacity and inventories in advance. If banks know borrowing needs in advance, they decide credit offtake in advance. If retailers know consumer footfall in advance, they can decide inventory in advance. So state of the economy actually is really important as an underpinning for smarter business decisions, right? Now, what is the state of the economy? Well, it's approximated very well on the basis of gross domestic product, the GDP. So in reality, the GDP, unfortunately, is not available on a real-time basis. In fact, it's not even available in advance. Typically, we get it with a lag of 3 months. So that doesn't help because you're not planning in advance. You're actually playing catch up. So there's a real need for leading indicators of GDP. In other words, how can you know what GDP is going to be, what economic activity is going to be rather than what it was 3 months ago? In other words, there's a big space that needs to be filled for advanced planning for business activity. And that's the gap that Dun & Bradstreet tries to fill. So, the Business Optimism Index by Dun & Bradstreet has become that leading indicator of GDP. It predicts with 80% confidence interval the direction of GDP exactly 6 months ahead of the official data. In fact, it happens 3 months ahead of the actual period of economic activity. Now, this didn't happen overnight. We actually initiated the Business Optimism Index in 1999. It was converted into a composite index in 2002. So it's based upon a survey. It draws an inference from 400 to 500 companies that come out of our database, and it predicts the turning points in the economy. So these companies have been sourced over time from Dun & Bradstreet's proprietary commercial credit information file. And over time, it has been an index that many users in the Indian economy use quite extensively. The government uses it, Niti Aayog in particular, the Reserve Bank of India use it, several key clients of Dun & Bradstreet use it quite regularly. So that's what the Dun & Bradstreet Business Optimism Index is. Now, we're really pleased to release the Q1 2018 Business Optimism Index. As I said, it's 3 months in advance of the actual economic activity. So we're at the start of this quarter and we have the Business Optimism Index for Q1. And guess what? It is the highest it has ever been for the last 3.5 years. Businesses are optimistic about their returns for Q1. We measure 6 parameters. 5 of the 6 parameters are decisively higher than they've ever been for the last several quarters. So, optimism on net profits are a 6-quarter high. Secondly, optimism for net sales are a 6-quarter high. Thirdly, optimism for selling prices, the realizations that sellers are going to get, are the highest since Q3 2012. Optimism for new orders is the highest in 8 quarters. Number 5, optimism for increasing the size of the workforce. In other words, what our business leaders are saying they're going to be hiring is the highest in 7 quarters. The 6th index is what our respondents are saying to us in terms of the size of the inventory. And what they're saying is it has risen, although this 6th parameter is not as decisively high as the remaining 5. So 5 out of 6 being significantly high is really something that decisively points in a particular direction. So that's Business Optimism Index for Q1. Now, what our survey also gives us is the possible reasons why the optimism index is what it is. So why is there optimism in the economy with the business leaders? So there's 3 main things. Firstly, the current state of the electoral landscape, right? The state elections that were hugely positive, the upcoming union budget, the assembly elections during 2018, all of this is pointing towards optimism about government SOPs that could push revival in consumption and investment. Secondly, we can see that the impact of demonetization is waning. There's more stability post the implementation of GDP, and the demand scenario for businesses is expected to improve. So that's come out through the survey as well. And finally, the global economy is expected to pick up steam in 2018. We believe that India will stand to gain. There is expectations of a favorable interest rate differential. There's expectation for continued reforms because we want to improve the ease of doing business rankings. All of this provides a lot of positive indications for the Business Optimism Index. So, are you interested? Get in touch with us, Dun & Bradstreet India. Thanks very much.